But when I found out that the police, the real police, the police from the real world had closed off the house for exactly the reason I'm telling you here, that's when my view of the case started to change. Imagine if the authorities, if the police closed off your house because you have mermaids at home. What? How come? Do mermaids even exist? Well, as far as we know, mermaids don't exist. But the story I'm going to tell you here in today's video is a true story, as unbelievable as it may seem. It's a real case, or a case that might show us that these things we consider to be creatures from our imagination are more real than we can believe. I'm Carol Capel, your favorite alien. Welcome everyone to another video that's starting right now here on this channel. This channel, by the way, even has a younger sibling. And if you don't know about it yet, or aren't subscribed to the Shorts channel, subscribe and come be a part of it. The link is up here in the cards. There, I post daily videos with all kinds of daily news about the world of mysteries. And you can't miss out, so you don't miss absolutely anything. Well, now let's get to the case that I'm sure will make all the hairs on your body stand on end. This case begins in 1951 when a famous actor and comedian named Mario Moreno, popularly known as Cantinflas, built a huge mansion facing the sea in Acapulco Bay after making a lot of money on television. Well, that's normal so far, right? Because everyone who makes a lot of money ends up building a mansion or buying a mansion, right? But the disturbing fact was the reason why he had bought this house. They say he bought this house because there were mermaids on the property. Real mermaids, not actresses, actual mermaids. And I'm also not talking about any metaphor for eating human flesh. I'm talking about real mermaids. Just like the mermaids from Pirates of the Caribbean or Peter Pan. Real mermaids. Mermaids that really exist. But that's not all. Because the house was also really strange. It was said that the statues moved, that there were tunnels leading to the sea, that mermaids were captured, and strange rituals were performed on full moon nights. Madness. I know it's madness. It's complete madness. But what no one disputes is the mystery that surrounds that place to this day. And honestly, I didn't believe in that story. Yeah, I thought it was just another one of those internet rumors. But when I found out that the police, the real police, the police from the real world, shut down the house for exactly the reason I'm telling you here, that's when my view on the case started to change. Some witnesses of the case, and people close to Cantinflas, said that his real dream was to experience true love with one of those magical creatures. So, let's take it step by step, because I have a lot of sordid details to tell you about this other macabre case full of mysteries. The house was a true palace for the sea. It was built in the 1950s, and the mansion was located in the Las Playas neighborhood in Acapulco. And it was the most glamorous vacation destination in Mexico. The property was very eccentric. It had some beautiful foundations, a colonial architecture, and Cantinflas chose something unique, which was an aesthetic inspired by the ocean floor. So the color blue dominated everything. There were giant murals with octopuses, with corals, dolphins, and mermaids adorning the walls. There were fountains inside the house that spouted salt water, bronze sculptures with tridents, and fishtails that decorated the garden. And the pool was more famous than any other pool in any other house in the area, because it had an underground tunnel that connected directly to the ocean. According to the mansion's former employees, the tunnel wasn't just decorative. It served a greater purpose. Some swore that on certain early mornings, sounds of women singing could be heard in the pool, even when the house was empty. It is said that everything began when Cantinflas met a man during one of his trips to Europe. He was an unknown man, maybe French, maybe Slavic, nobody knows. He was an occultist, according to some, and this man gave him a light blue crystal as a gift, almost translucent, which, according to the story, had magical properties. This crystal attracted sea creatures, especially female entities called Nereids. This man, according to reports, is said to have said something like, "With this crystal, Mario, you will see what fishermen only dream of. You won't see fish, you'll see the other side." Cantinflas then became obsessed with the idea and had this mansion built based on astrological guidance, lunar alignments, and geometric proportions based on the Nautilus shell. The mansion's pool was designed by a naval engineer with oceanic filtration technology, but it wasn't just an ordinary pool. It had a lower compartment with very thick glass windows through which you could observe the bottom of the pool and the water. There, guests, very distinguished people, were taken to watch something. Well, some say they only saw waves and refracted lights. Others claim they saw eyes there in that water, female faces, mermaids, and they swam close to the glass, lightly tapping it with a hand before disappearing. Local fishermen testified that at night a strange music could be heard coming from inside the property, a high-pitched and hypnotizing melody. And whenever that music played, the fishing nets came back empty, as if the entire sea withdrew to protect something. On the edge of the cliff, above the house, Cantinflas had a statue of himself erected, gazing at the sea with a melancholic look. The statue was holding a shell, and on the pedestal there was a strange inscription, neither in Spanish nor in Latin. Later studies indicated that it was a fragment of a Phoenician text, and some believe that the statue served as a symbol of sacrifice, that Cantinflas was offering his image to the sea, asking for favors, asking for protection, or perhaps asking for contact with creatures from a submerged world. Several employees of the house abandoned their positions, claiming unexplained events. And among these events, the most common were the pool water bubbling on its own. Objects would disappear and reappear wet. Even when these objects were locked away, blue lights would appear in the hallways at night, female voices would sing songs without lyrics, and a maid in an anonymous interview said, quote, "Alben bladi in ba mapes is atati." I saw it clearly. It was a woman, but with eyes as black as pitch, and her hair was floating even without water. She looked straight at me from the bottom of the pool. I never went back there. After the 70s, Cantinflas started staying away from the house, and he claimed that the house made him sick. Some said he started having constant nightmares, in which he was dragged to the bottom of the sea by female arms. Others say that the sea itself began to recede along the property's coast, as if it had absorbed everything it wanted from that place. The mansion was then slowly abandoned. Without maintenance, the murals faded, the statue cracked, and that mysterious tunnel was sealed forever. One of the boldest theories and legends about this mansion says that Cantinflas had captured a real mermaid, a creature that lived in an underground aquarium connected to the sea, and she fed on seafood, music, and attention. According to this theory, the mermaid made some kind of pact there, where she would show Cantinflas the future in exchange for her freedom. And he would have refused. And that's when everything in Cantinflas's life started to go wrong. He had family problems, loss of prestige, illnesses, nightmares. Everything suggests that this mermaid cursed him. And when she was finally set free, she supposedly said the following phrase in quotes, "No one deceives the sea and gets away with it." Currently, the mansion is still there, but in ruins. Visitors who go to the place report seeing shadows, hearing whispers, water running down the walls even on dry days, and a strange feeling of being watched by something submerged. Urban explorers and ghost hunters have included this house on the list of the 10 most haunted properties in Mexico. And interestingly, no plant survives in the pool garden, not even cacti. It's as if the soil in that place rejects life. And listening to this story, and especially as I delved deeper into this case, I started to wonder if what lives there in that house is really a mermaid. Or could it be, for example, some entity related to the oceans? The truth is, we'll never know. But there were real reports, and the police even investigated the case. Now, have you ever imagined the police investigating a mermaid case? This case, by the way, I would say is pretty bizarre. But that's the thing, right? Are mermaids real? And especially in this story, I realized that maybe it's not the mermaid itself, but rather Cantinflas, who wanted to embody all the hidden archetypes of mermaids. But what do you mean, embody hidden archetypes? You all know very well that I'm the author of this book here, which is a book that talks especially about archetypes. And precisely on this page here, which is page number 89, I talk about these hidden archetypes of mermaids. So, I'm going to read to you exactly what's written here in my book. In the mermaid section, her archetype talks about intuition and enchantment. So, on the light side, we have magnetism, power of attraction, and a powerful voice. And on the shadow side, we have illusion, destructive seduction, and manipulation. By taking a look at this story in light of the subject in my book of archetypes, we can see that maybe Cantinflas tried to incorporate this mermaid archetype into his life and his home. And, as the shadow side itself suggests, illusion, destructive seduction, and manipulation. And that's exactly how his life ended. So, is all of this just a coincidence? Do symbols truly hold power? For those interested in my book, the link is in the description below. This book is available in Portuguese and in Spanish, and you can get it through Amazon. And it delivers worldwide. Anyway, I want to know your opinion about this mermaid case. And especially about this story of Cantinflas. Do you think it was real, that he really had captured a mermaid? Or do you think it was more of a symbolic archetypal issue? Comment down below everything you think about it. And if you watch this video until the end, comment mermaid down below to start invoking this invisible power. I'll wrap it up here with another video, and I'll see you all in our next videos. Bye.